Yo, hey, what's up, y'all? Did you miss me? You missed me a little bit. Really, how much? How much did you miss me? I bet you're asking, Coach. We've been here. Where you been, Coach? We've been here. We showed up every day this week. But where were you? As you can tell, I wasn't practicing my dance moves. Same dance moves. Mm, 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 mm. Guys, it's time. Yo, yo. Hold on. Let me just turn off the hype music for a second. Yeah, we're getting ready to start the show. And yeah, it's really good to be back. You know what? Before we get started, quick announcement. Let's get the kitty cat. We have a kitty cat here today, and you know, let the kitty cat. Good. Yeah, yeah. We're gonna get the kitty cat out of the room. Let's get this kettlebell out of the way too. Let's just move it. Do I have two yellow kettlebells? I didn't even know I had two yellow kettlebells, bros. Did you guys know I had two yellow kettlebells? I had no idea. I didn't, honestly. Woo, guys, what's happening? Mm. Yeah. Where have I been? The question on everyone's mind. The question that is keeping you up at night. You guys, I know you set your alarms. You woke up. You came to class. I caught you wasn't there. Well, as you guys may have, well, I did mention, and you may know, I did take a trip. I did a little men's group. I did a little retreat. I can't tell you how important it has been for me to, the fuck are my shits? I can't tell you how important it has been for me to go out and take different trips, go out to different men's groups, and yeah, so that's what I did. I went to Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and I did a men's group. I did a men's weekend. You guys ever do that? You guys ever do that? Go to a men's retreat? I'm stalling right now because I'm trying to set up my stuff. If you guys can't tell, and it's not going so well, you know. But shit happens. You know, that's what they say. Isn't that what they say? They say shit happens. They do say that. Come on, man. Come on, man. You can do it. You can find. Is it one of those days, man? It might be one of those days. I can't find the channel. I think I'd have this down by now. You know, sometimes YouTube's very easy with this. Sometimes it's not very easy with this. But there it is. Yes, yes, we found it. And how are we doing with this? All right, we found it. Whoa, really lit up today. Guys, I caught a cold while I was in Lancaster, and while I was out there, I had a great time. But as soon as I got there, I got sick, and so I've been fighting with my cold here for the last week. I did have quite a couple challenging days. Look, don't get mad at me, and if you do get mad at me, it's okay. You can be mad at me. Just forgive me shortly. Um, I left healthy, got sick while I was in Lancaster. I had to come back home, and I know you're not supposed to travel sick, and so you have to forgive me for that, but I did need to come back home, and so I traveled at the beginning of my cold, and I learned a horrible lesson. The pressurized cabin, and if you have any type of congestion or going on, that shit's amplified in the air. And then also, when I landed, I didn't make it home till midnight. Picture this, man, getting your ass kicked all day in an airport, in an airplane, being sick, and then when I landed, my head felt like it was gonna fucking explode from the pressure. It was tough. Um, and then I needed, well, what is today? Monday? Is today Monday? Yeah, I took like a full 7 days off. I'm still not there, uh, and I'm still not all there. Maybe you can tell by my presentation, my dance moves, and I don't know, whatever I'm pointing at. Yeah, and then just kind of to express myself a little bit, I did start noticing I was losing muscle mass, and that made me feel very uncomfortable. So I've been very excited to get healthy and get back into working out, back into eating well, and it's been such a challenge, man. Like I want to work out so bad, but I know if I push myself, it might drop me. So I've been holding off on the workouts, but I think we'll be able to get them in soon. Let me go ahead and pause. And so I guess all that just to wrap it up. Thank you guys for being patient. Thank you guys for coming back. And as my health gets going back better, I think we're going to get a lot more out of this channel. As when you're sick and bad, all you do is daydream about the things that you want to do. And getting back on YouTube was, one of the biggest things I wanted to do. And then let's congratulate ourselves, guys. We made 7,100 followers to the channel. So I thank you guys so much for keeping the channel growing and flowing. And as you can see by today's title, today is the Drop-In 360. Now this is not going to be a super big lesson, but I thought it would be an easy enough lesson for me to teach without getting too tired. And so I'm going to start off with a one-handed 360. I'm going to start off with my light blue mace, and I'm actually not going to go up in size today. Well, maybe I will. We'll see. You are going to need a little overhead clearance, so just make sure you're not standing under any lights. And guys, if you're ready to go, I am also ready to go. Now, in order to do a drop-in 360, you're going to need to know how to do a one-handed 360. And if you've taken my 360 tutorial before, you will know that I have a fingerless approach. Pretty easy. If you can swing with two hands, take your pinky off. You see my pinky? It's off. Do a 360. And if you can do that right, take another finger off, and then take another finger off, and before you know it, you'll be swinging one-handed 360s. Now, a long time ago, I wanted to interrupt the 360. I wanted to stop it in its tracks and add another move. I always thought the 360, although it is a ballistic movement, meaning, the mace is moving through time and space pretty fast, that it does have landmarks. Crossbody bottom, landmark 3.5, critical, crossbody back, etc., etc., etc. And so I always thought it was fun to pause in those spaces and try and implement another move. And also, I thought it would be very fun in my practice to add a 360 into the middle of a move. And so we started to develop a mixture of two moves together. And in this series, we're going to be learning the drop-in 360. And a drop-in 360 is just like that. You're in the middle of a move or at the end of a move. Fuck, you might be at the beginning of the move and want to add a 360. Man, I fell in love with 360 so many years ago. It's one of the things I will do forever. I don't think I'll ever stop doing 360s. Yep, check, I won't. And to get going today, we'll start off with a couple fun techniques. First thing we're going to do is we're going to start off in cross-body top, and we're going to go into our arrow. Now, we're going to attack the arrow and the drop-in 360 first because there's a little bit of artistry needed to make this move nice and smooth. And so we all know the bow and arrow, hopefully, and if you don't know it, we have a couple videos on that. In order for me to do a drop-in 360, I've got to let go of the handle. But if I let go of the handle, all that happens is the mace head drops. And I guess we could turn that into a 360 with the right wrist roll. Pa, pa. Ooh, that's super advanced. But instead of going super advanced, let's take it back a step. First thing I'm going to do is after I do my 360, and I'm going to step up a little close to the camera, is I'm going to punch towards my mace. And so you can see I'm not holding on to the mace anymore, but I'm packing my lat with my shoulder, I'm flexing my pec a bit, I'm angling the mace just a tiny bit in front of me, so I get to hit pec minor. Pec minor. And then from there, I'm going to make an adjustment with the handle. I'm going to bring my handle up and over my head. Now, depending on the length of your arm, depending on the length of your mace, may determine the angle of your departure. But once I've pressed, punched, I've dropped my shoulder into the lat, I'm going to lift my mace. Now, this can be a little tricky. From here, all I'm going to do is roll my knuckle back. And if I roll my knuckle back, hopefully your top hand is in a swinging position. And if you are in a swinging position, you should just glide right into your practice 360. So hopefully you have a really good one-handed 360, and this should just roll right in. Now, after you've done that a few times, you might not need to roll your knuckle back, but instead, just pull your mace back through your wrist, and look at you. You're doing a one-handed 360 off of an arrow. You are dropping in from the arrow position into the 360. Now, you can totally hold on to the mace. You don't have to release it, and you can still do the move. I do notice I get a little bit of flexion or extension in my chest when I don't let go of the mace. In order to make room, I bump my chest forward. Now, it's okay if you bump your chest forward. It's okay if you bump your chest back or your back. But if you want to keep a nice solid column of the spine, I suggest going to your pistol grip, punching, lifting, and rolling off of the back. For me, whenever I swing a one-handed 360, there are a couple things that I want to protect. Everything. But there are a couple areas that might have a target on them. That being the shoulder, the elbow, the wrist, well, everything from the shoulder down. And so it's very important for me when I do my drop-in 360s that I do everything I can to bring my elbow across the front line. All right, and I have seen the drop-in 360 from the arrow done a different way, but the same way. And I'll leave it to you to decide. One thing I love about Mace is the artistry. I love the beauty of it. I love to see a polished technique, or in this case, two polished techniques intercepting each other. And sometimes when you are polishing two techniques together, you start to create new positions. And those new positions can always be refined. And so it's definitely not how you start, it's that you start. And it's definitely not where you finish, but how you finish. And so what I've noticed is a lot of lifting in the drop-in 360. And I've noticed that in the Mace community, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, I do prefer a nice, beautiful line with your freehand. I like that as opposed to having a throw. Both are beautiful. It's just what I prefer. Now, I said depending on the length of the mace and the arm, and I mean that. If I have a short arm or a short mace, I'm just going to shorten up on my mace. It makes it pretty hard for me to reach up and over and keep good form. And so sometimes you're just limited on the length. However, I feel like a full-size mace this is a very short mace, you should be able to do the drop in 360 from bow and arrow. Pow! You should be able to do it with keeping your shoulder down. Now, I don't know if you guys can tell, I'm still feeling a little loopy. I'm still feeling a little out of it. I still haven't felt myself too much lately, but I'm so happy to be here and share time and energy with you guys. And thank you for being so forgiving and so kind in this episode. All right, so let's keep doing some drop-in 360s. Another drop-in 360 that we really love to do is off of the shoulder. So I take my mace and I put it in landmark 3 or on my trap, you know, the muscly part of my neck. And from there, I kind of saw the mace on my back, just like so. Now this helps if you have a mace with good knurling, a mace that has a flat coat, meaning not a super shiny coat, and if you have a t-shirt on. If the mace is shiny, lacquer tends to stick to the skin. If it's painted a flat black or a flat blue, it tends to glide on the skin a lot easier. And from here, all I'm going to do is press my mace through and drop it straight off of my back. Now this drop in 360 can actually be a kinetic swing. It doesn't need to leave your shoulder. However, with enough practice reps, well, maybe your skin will get irritated and you'll think, hey, that would feel better if it didn't touch my shoulder. And so a drop in 360 doesn't have to be done from a one position. It can be done from a many positions. And so in this case, I'm doing a drop in 360 from the arrow. I'm shouldering my mace. And I'm doing another drop in 360. Pistol grip. Lift. I love the discipline this takes versus this. I feel like you're getting ready to dunk on somebody here. Here, I feel like you're getting ready to call a timeout, okay? And so, the game of where else can I drop the mace in to do a 360? Let's go ahead and take a higher risk. Yeah, let's do that. Next form I'm going to do, and I'm going to step back just a little bit, is from an overhead press. In my overhead press, or I've got my mace in landmark 4, I'm going to get myself as quickly as possible to my swinging position. It's a pretty strong move right there. Good for you, coach. Yes, proud of myself. Haven't been feeling very strong, so that felt good. From my swinging position, I'm going to do everything I can to get my mace into my swinging position. You know, the right angle from shoulder to elbow and elbow to knuckle. And once I'm in that position, all I'm going to do is swing inside. Pop, pop. And so it's almost like I'm guiding the mace over into my position as I start to pick up my technique. And then after a while, you can just drop the mace. Now, a very fun combination that you can do, and this is an old move. This is called the Sentinel Press. And I'm talking, damn, 8 years old? 7 or 8 years old. I'm going to do an outside swing, meaning I'm going to swing outside, one-handed, and I'm going to catch. And this is what we called the Sentinel Press. Single arm. Boom. Sentinel, as in, I love the X-Men. I loved the X-Men growing up, and they were always fighting these giant, tall structures called Sentinels. And so we would call that the drop-in 360 and that the Sentinel Press. And they make a great combo. And since we have another move, we can add it to our drop-in 360. And then, if we want, we can use our opposite side to switch sides. We can do our outside swing into our press, our Sentinel Press, and then drop in to a couple of the 360s we learned. That's right. There it is. Now, the drop in 360, I think, can be done just from about every position, and it's just a matter of being creative. I like to be creative around the basics, but if you do find yourself in a position where the basics are just so far apart from the new experience you're trying to create, so be it. We're going to take a move now. We're going to do our Shaolin wrist control. And from our Shaolin wrist control, we are going to do a drop in 360. Now, the challenge that we have in this particular hold is that the weight of the mace is verticalized instead of horizontal. You'll notice in all of the techniques, there was a lift of the handle to get into our swinging position. So what do we do from our Shaolin? Well, from our Shaolin, we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to raise the mace up, back into my swinging position. You'll notice that I keep my form, my Shaolin, and then from there, voila. I am always tempted in Shaolin to give the mace a little energy on the way back. Boom, boom, boom. And so if you find yourself trying to swat the mace behind you, that's something that I've done. But I do think it adds a lot of character to hold the technique, especially if you want to do like a series of Shaolin or Shaolin drop in to arrow drop in to back drop in overhead into the sentinel. Voila! Very cool. All right, now we're going to do one advanced technique, and for all of you who are training with a full-size mace, this one will take a little bit of time. But what I'd like for you to do is shorten up on your mace. Hold less mace. And you can't have a whole bunch of handle here because what will happen is the handle will eventually bump into you. So you need enough clearance for the handle to pass through the center. Another way a 360 can be done is not only by raising the handle and dropping the head, but you can also just drop the head. And I kind of gave this one away earlier, but you can do a 360 drop in without necessarily raising the handle above the head. Yes, the drop in 360. Guys, I hope you have so much fun with that one. And again, just introducing our old moves, our basics into, yeah. Let me get a zoom in. Let me get a zoom in. Come on, zoom into me. Introducing our old moves into new moves, or halfway in between moves. Never tried that from Shaolin. Yeah, Austin, good to see you, my friend. Glad you're here. Oh man, yeah, that cold really kicked my ass. I'm so happy that I did get to do a few things with you guys today, and I'm going to call it here before I get too tuckered out. I've still got a few things I've got to do to get my stuff going for the week. You know what happens when you lay in bed for a week and nothing gets done. And so I'm going to spend some time doing that. And quick note, guys, as great as great as these experiences have been, and there's no plan to stop, still makes flow education. I'm really looking forward to a one-on-one connection with my students. So I'm going to open up my books. I'm going to come out of teaching retirement. And I'll give you guys some more information on that. But if you're looking at booking a one-on-one session with me, smile, because you're going to be able to do that before you know it. I just want to get healthy and, get that stuff accomplished first. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Austin, thank you for lighting up the chat with your, you know what, should we do it with a bigger mace? No, let's not. Let's call it. I'm sweating too much. Guys, it's been great. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. What else can you do? Donate to charity, brush your teeth, drink 2 cups of coffee in the morning, skip your cold shower, and play video games all day. Guys, I'd say Leo Savage, and I'm out.